Scott, how delighted are you to get the Chris Barker deal done to be part of your academy team as your assistant?
Yeah, it's been obviously we lost Wade last year for the right reasons. He went off to Stoke, so a real good progression for him, and we wish him well because he was great to work with. But we moved quickly in the summer to bring Chris in. Obviously, I worked with him really closely at Western-super-Mare last year, and we've shared similar views on the game, how it should be played. He's had some fantastic experience as a player, in a sort of a 10-year career in the Championship, so can rub some of that experience off onto the boys. But it's more than that really. We work really well together. There's a real good trust there. He's a really good coach with good morals. He's been around the game forever, so we kind of dovetail quite well together, and it's exciting, and we're I think we're going to be a good team to take the academy into the Football League.
Yeah, you say about the Football League. How fundamentally are the changes now from being an academy team in the conference to the Football League?
Yeah, it's massive. We're always firefighting for the last 4 or 5 years. I felt structurally we've been ready, or as ready as we can be. To get into the Football League is obviously fantastic. The first team did great last year to get there. So for us now, it's about confirming everything with the EFL. They've been great. They're desperate to have us in. We've applied for Cat 4 status and been granted that, which is massive for us really. So there's a whole different ball game in terms of a funding pot, and it's actually a real eye opener because they give you X amount of money to work with, but it's all got to be divvied out into staff really. So the biggest change for me is that we're going to have 4 or 5 full-time members of staff working within the academy structure. We've never had that before, so basically we get a bigger and better academy to take forward into the Football League.
Can you tell us who your staff are going to be, or who are your staff now?
Of course, obviously, James Mooney, Club Sec, he's taken on a proportion of the head of ops role, which is massively important. I'm sure any academy manager will tell you that person's key to making sure everything runs smoothly. So James and I work closely together anyway, so that was a progression for us both that we're really keen to continue working together and building the academy structure from within the club in that way. Vicky French has come over from SGS College. I've worked with Vicky for 5 years. She'll be our head of education and safeguarding and welfare. So she's fantastic to work with, and her role really is to make sure the boys achieve academically, because it's a huge part of, and rightly so, it's a huge part of what we do. We've always stressed that to the boys anyway in our guys in the previous 3 or 4 years of working with SGS. So she's a great addition to the team, and then obviously from a coaching point of view, we've got Chris Barker, who we touched on just a moment ago, and Megan has come in as a physio who will work underneath Ian Weston and Joe Baker. So we've got, I think, a really excellent team of people, good people, and that was key really, to get the structure right, get good people in that we can hope grow with us, and maybe push to get Category 3 status further down the line.
Yeah, it must be a great relief for you to have that backing, because last year you were really ostensibly a one-man band.
Yeah, of course, we've always had help, we've always had volunteers. There's been some great people. We had Wade last year, which was a real progression for the club. Obviously we didn't replace him at the end of the season because it seemed the right thing to do, to wait and see how the land lies. Obviously the first team did brilliantly, so we've put ourselves in a great position going into League 2 now with, like you say, lots of help, good people, and we can really push now and start building an academy.
Well, I guess this is something you've been working at for a number of years, and it does just change the whole picture when the first team moves into the Football League.
Yeah, of course, right from when I first retired really, and I had a conversation with Dave Hockaday and Dale. It was initially get our youth team, and structure our youth structure right, in readiness for us getting into the Football League. And yeah, it's been 5 years in waiting really, but I think those 5 years experience have been really valuable, and we've got a blank bit of paper now to really build, and we'll do it our own way, of course, but I'm delighted with the work we've gone through in the last sort of 8 weeks put ourselves in a really good position. But again, like this year, it's going to be all about getting the process right, getting the structure right, setting our achievable goals for the season. Obviously, the notable changes are, being in the Football League, we'll be able to keep our players now. They're contracted, so that was always a concern of mine. That someone might come and pinch our best players. Obviously, that won't happen now. Also, integration with the first team in terms of the Central League. So we've gone. I think it's been made official. We've gone back into the Football League Central League now. So there'll be sort of 10, 15 reserve games this season, in which we'll be made up of first team lads that need a game for whatever reason, injury, suspension, loss of form, just racking up a few more minutes, and then the academy boys that are deserving of a place in that squad on any given Tuesday.
Yeah, and I guess it goes without saying, player recruitment is different now. Now you're a Football League academy.
Yeah, it is. We're going to have this year's a transitional period for us. The scholarships have got to be on a 2-year basis, so we've got a number of lads that we would have liked to offer the scholar to that we couldn't in their first year. They'll remain with us, with the club, because that's the right thing to do. And like Jordan Morris and Tommy have done, and Joe Stokes and Louis before them, they've still got every opportunity to earn a professional contract, and they'll train with us exactly like the others. But by the start of the following season, 18-19 season, we'll have 18 full-time scholars all on the same system. So therefore due a couple of years as a transitional period, which is great. And I've got to say that the people from the EFL have been fantastic with their support, because they could have asked us to wait a year, and we were really insistent that we've waited 4 or 5 years already. So we were really keen to get things up to scratch behind the scenes, and we got approval from the Premier League in the last sort of 4 weeks. So we're just itching to get started now.
Yeah, you must be delighted to see the likes of Tommy Anderson and Jordan Morris. They got a long way to go, but having these professional contracts.
Yeah, of course. In the modern game, it's never probably been easier to earn a professional contract because of the way a lot of clubs are structured with an under-21s or an under-23s. So, we are really mindful of that, and we do drum into the boys that they've done nothing yet in the game. This is probably the next 2 years will define whether they're going to be professional footballers or not. So us as a club have got to put a progression pathway in for each individual. That'll obviously include loan moves, specific training sessions with the academy, with the first team, and have put something in place for them to give them the best opportunity to forge a career in the game, because it's not it's not easy, as you know.
A word on Jordan Morris as well. He's been in and around the first team, featured in the pre-season friendlies. He looks like another one of your bright prospects.
Jordan Stevens.
Jordan Stevens.
Yeah. Jordan's done really, really well.
The two Jordans.
Yeah, of course. But Jordan's a second-year academy player with us, so I'm delighted with the contribution of all the boys that have played in the games up to now. But Jordan is one that we think's got a very, very good chance of going on and progressing in the game, and he's a fantastic athlete. But again, it's a step up for everyone this year. It's a step up. We got Plymouth away in our first game. I'm sure the boys can handle it, but it's going to be a step up, and it's something that we're really looking forward to.
Yeah. What is the process for recruiting academy players? How do you go about it?
Well, the best way is to promote from within. So we've got to get the structure right the way down from our under-8s. We'd love a lad to come all the way through and then get into the 18s. We do spend a lot of time with that, and I know Mark and Scott, myself and Chris are going to spend a lot of time with our coaches further down the system to make sure that there's a real joined upness, togetherness with what we're doing and the club's ethos and way of playing. So for me, that's the best way of doing it. I think we've got a really talented group of under-16s this year that Tommy Callanan and John Stiddard are looking after. So ideally, we'd get the bulk of next year's squad from them. But of course, there's always bigger and better teams than us that have got more resources in different categories, Cat 1, Cat 2 clubs. You take your Cardiffs and your Bristol Cities. There's always 1 or 2 very good players that have been unlucky in those. So we've got to keep relationships with all them. It's like a food chain, isn't it? We've had some cracking lads come out of different clubs, and for whatever reason, sometimes they might have been somewhere for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years and gone a little bit stale, and find, you know, a slightly different environment stimulating, and get the best out of them here. So for me, it's about, we've got to work really, really hard now on our recruitment for next season, not this season coming, for the season after. We are still recruiting for this season, but for me it's about working as hard as we can with our under-16s, get them in with the 18s as often as we can, to give them the best opportunity of progressing our own players through the club. But again, you know, if there's a good player from wherever, you know, we want the best player. So we're in a position now where we can house them if we need. You know, there's funding streams available for that sort of thing. So ideally for me, we'd look after the players we've got, and then see what else is out there.
And I guess really a positive again of being in the Football League, you can keep hold of your bright prospects, as you touched on before. In the past 10-15 years ago, the likes of Sean Rigg were cherry picked and went off to Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in the past we've lost, obviously you just touched on Riggy there, but Andy Sandell as well went on and had a really good career. He was Forest Green player. In the last, because of the way the club's structured and the way the chairman has got his ambition into the club, and with the new stadium, we haven't actually lost anyone we didn't really want to lose. There's one or two further down the system that we've lost to Bristol City, and we lost one to Bristol Rovers. Lost one to Cheltenham as well, but we've probably gained more than we've lost. But it is now a comfort knowing that actually, you know, we can contract those boys and keep them within our system, because, you know, we do a lot of good work with them, and we want the best local boys playing for us.
Thanks, Scott.
No problem.
Cheers.